It's showtime, folks!
Ladies and gentlemen, WWE Raw Review. I am back once again to talk about wrestling. This time WWE, and this time Monday Night Raw. Oh, what a Monday Night Raw. It was on a high, and it kind of fell off of a cliff, but I'm about to review every bit of it. First, I'd like to say, feel free to check out my channel. I'll leave the link down below. Also, feel free to jump in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about Raw, your favorite moments, and what you didn't like about the show. Anything you got, I'll respond to it. So, we started Monday Night Raw with Roman Reigns. Oh man, Roman Reigns. Here we go again. Obviously, we're in Montreal last night, and Montreal Canada just gave it to him. Not that I was expecting anything different. Just Canada is one of the best crowds in either US or the entire world. Period. So they gave it to Roman Reigns. He comes down, and Roman Reigns is just this sad puppy dog making excuses left and right, like a whine. He just turned into a whiner. He comes down saying that, I'm the real Universal Champion, and you see what happened, and this just sounds like something a heel would do. What's the point in having them come down and make excuses? I don't know what they're doing with Roman Reigns at this point. It just seems like they're doing everything in their power not to get him over as good as possible. But he comes down, he makes excuses, he's uninspiring, he talks about how he should be the champ, and then I hear a random roar from the Montreal crowd, and obviously it's Samoa Joe on the screen, and they're just making Samoa Joe look like a prophet here because he's sad that Roman Reigns has nothing but excuses after every time he faces Brock Lesnar. Look, I understand that they're trying to work up the angle that the referee messed up or whatever, but it's still Roman Reigns lost. That's it. So Samoa Joe comes on the screen, he gives his piece, and then he's off the screen. Obviously, they didn't want to have Samoa Joe appear live and tear Roman Reigns apart like he did the last few weeks. So Reigns continues to go on, but we hear the music of Jinder Mahal. Random inclusion here. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they got Jinder Mahal to come down here because, okay, we need the crowd to boo somebody in the ring with Roman Reigns some way, somehow, to get Roman Reigns some kind of cheer some way. So the crowd did boo Jinder Mahal. He got in the ring and they chanted, "You both suck." But when he said he was coming after Roman Reigns, the crowd roared and cheers. So no surprise there. After that, we had the inclusion of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which both got humongous pops from this Canada crowd. Canada loves their own, like any other people in any other crowd in wrestling history. Like Bret Hart, when that guitar riff would hit with Bret Hart, just the roof would blow off of those places with those Canada crowds. Not the roof, the roof would blow off, much like it did for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They came down, they talked about how they wanted Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens put it to a popularity contest, to which he won, which was pretty funny, but that lets Roman Reigns attacking Kevin Owens, and this all led to Bobby Lashley coming down and also Braun Strowman coming down, to which led us to, guess what, a 6-man tag team match player set up for later on in the night. This was interesting because the case with Roman Reigns just keeps going. I don't get it. At first, after the Greatest Royal Rumble, I said, okay, this has to be leading to a heel turn. And it still looks like they're trying to build up some kind of sympathy for him. And that's never going to work whatsoever. So we'll see how it plays out. I'll wait to see how it all plays out. He has Samoa Joe coming up this Sunday at Backlash. We'll see how that plays out. So moving on, we moved on to Elias. This is another guy that it seems like they have no plan for, but sticking to the script here, Elias came down and he played a song, did his usual snitch with the crowd. WWE stands for We Want Elias. Walk with Elias. What is going on with me? And this led to a match with Bobby Roode, a rematch of last week, to which Elias won the match. And Bobby Roode is another guy that needs something else to go down with him. I'm about to get into that after the match. But Elias and Bobby Roode had a decent enough match. It wasn't anything special. The closing stretch of the match ended with Elias throwing Bobby Roode into the turnbuckle rope. And I mean, Bobby Roode just sold it like he was choking out. We had the EMTs rushing down to ringside. Elias declared himself the winner. And this is the second match in a row with Elias and Bobby Roode. Elias wins again. And it's like this is going nowhere. Both guys are going nowhere fast. And Elias is going nowhere. He hasn't had when was the last time, just think about it, when was the last time Elias had a concrete feud or a concrete story to where they were building up over the course of a month or months to where you said, okay, they're building Elias up somewhere. I can't think of anything. The only thing that's got Elias over is the crowd and singing in front of the crowd. The guy is fantastic. The guy is great. But they have no concrete plan for him. As for Bobby Roode, that doesn't seem to be a real concrete plan for him ever since he's come to Raw. Not really much going on. And what he needs is a heel turn, for goodness sake. I mean, Bobby Roode just doesn't get it done as a face. And I've seen this. I've been watching Bobby Roode since the TNA days. He's decent enough as a face, but he really thrives when he's a heel. He thrived when he was a heel in NXT as well. And they really need a heel turn for Bobby Roode here. I wouldn't even mind a double turn here in this feud if they're gonna keep going with this feud. Have Elias turn face, have Bobby Roode turn heel. That would do wonders for both guys. But you gotta actually do something with the guys if you're gonna double turn them. So after that led to AOP, the Authors of Pain, coming down. We had a squash match here with random guys. When AOP's music hits and when they come down the ringside, the first thing I think is, man, these guys are legit. And I have my questions as to where they would move on and be able to talk on the mic on their own. But I like what they're doing with them. They had the squash match. It was over within 30 seconds, a minute or so, and they let them get on the mic, and they keep their words to a minimum, and they make it all about them being legit and them causing havoc and wreaking pain on people. So I like that. I like where they are going with AOP so far. So moving on, we had Seth Rollins coming down to ringside, and I gotta say, the Canada crowd is just, like I said earlier, the Canada crowd is just special. One of the best crowds. And this segment, Seth Rollins came down and tried to talk on the mic, and the crowd just wouldn't let him continue to talk. We got chants out the building, and I said on Twitter that this is nearly reminding me of the time where Hulk Hogan, if you go back, I think it was 2003, he had a promo on Raw. I think it was one on Raw and one on SmackDown where he was in front of the Canada crowd and the Canada crowd was just showering him with cheers. And the only thing he could say was, "Darn, you guys are awesome." And that's what it was heading to with Seth Rollins. We got Olay chants. We got "You deserve it" chants. We got "We" chants. And it's not like the guy doesn't deserve it, because he is phenomenal. And sooner or later, this guy's going to be back in the main event picture soon enough. But moving on, as he tried to talk, we were interrupted by Finn Balor. This feud continues. There's not much going on with Finn Balor either, as far as direction outside of him stalking Seth Rollins. Finn Balor asked him for a match. Seth Rollins was hesitant to it, but he said, but Finn Balor would interrupt with, "I like that but we're going to move on from that." And they were interrupted by The Miz Taraj. They are still acting like The Miz Taraj. Bo and Axel still has the music, the Miz's music. And I don't understand why. I mean, they're running this angle where Axel and Bo is trying to join in with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. And like, when Axel and Bo stepped down from The Miz in that match on The Miz's last Raw appearance, the first thing I said was, okay, Axel and Bo has a storyline now. This is pretty decent, I gotta say. And they followed it up with nothing. Now Axel and Bo look like goons again. Curtis Axel's music, like his music hit at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and it's the Mr. Perfect remix. And I forgot that he even had that music. So why are they not using that music for him? And why are they not going back to Bo Dallas's theme? So that's just a small part of this storyline that I disagree with these guys. So I mean, they have nothing going. And this all led to a beatdown of both of them by Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. We would go on to have the Finn Balor Seth Rollins match later on in the night. So moving on, we had Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks had an interview before the match discussing Bayley and also saying if Ruby wants a riot, she can bank on one. Jeez, man. Ugh, that's a bad line. So this match here, not a whole lot going on in this match as well. I gotta say that the closing stretch, I really enjoyed it. Actually, with Sasha Banks, I have a personal thing with her and Bayley that I said weeks ago. I'm not interested in Sasha Banks and Bayley anymore, or the attention, because they've done nothing with it. I mean, we've had the moments to where, okay, it's time to turn one of them heel, or else nothing's gonna happen. They've done nothing with it. 2 straight years, 2 straight WrestleManias in a row, we don't get Sasha versus Bayley. So I have a hard time being interested in anything Sasha does, and there's complete apathy in the crowd when her music hits and when Bayley's music hits. None of this is on Sasha or Bayley. It's on creative and how they're using them. So keeping on track here, looking at this match, it was pretty decent. In the closing stretch, we had a wild closing stretch where Sasha Banks hit the double knees on Ruby Riott when she was on the apron, which was sick. He was on the turnbuckle. And as we got to the end of the match, Liv Morgan was on the apron. Sasha went to kick her off. She did, but she was met with a Riott kick from Ruby. And Ruby would go on to get the 1, 2, 3 for the victory. Riott Squad looks good. Sasha Banks is floundering at the moment. So after this, we moved on to a moment of bliss. These things, there's a lot of people that like them. I'm not all of that interested in, to be honest. It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. Speaking of Alexa's teacup story. So and I mean, I get why people like it. I get why people find it funny. But the crazy thing about these moments of bliss is that Nia really was a bully in this storyline. Before she won the title, she really was bullying the entire roster, to which that makes Alexa look like she's telling the truth. To which, I don't know. I just don't like to overlook things such as Nia throwing Asuka into the barricade, and like she was a bully against all of the women. So what she's saying, what Alexa's actually saying, it kind of makes sense. But I get what they're doing. They're trying to be funny with it. So moving on, we had Titus backstage. Titus World Slide. So I was interested to see what would happen. Will they follow up on the Titus momentum that he built out of nowhere by sliding under the ropes at the greatest Royal Rumble? And he had a basic interview with Renee, which was interrupted by Baron Corbin taking issue with Titus, talking about how it would have been better if he didn't fall in the first place, talking about how he didn't enjoy him and whatnot. Titus took exception to it, so in my mind, I thought we were heading towards a Titus versus Baron Corbin match, and surprise, surprise, we weren't. And I'll get to that, but moving on, shifting gears, we moved on to Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. They are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. We got this random history lesson with Matt Hardy, and I didn't find it all that to be all that funny. A lot of people did. Random history lesson with him and Bray Wyatt and how they went through the annals of time, and I didn't find it to be all that great. But we moved on. Of course, we went back to commentary. Corey Graves loved it. Michael Cole didn't. So that was that on that. And we moved on to our next match, which I thought was going to be the main event. It was Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Team Canada versus Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and Braun Strowman. This match, it was really good. Well, I won't say really good, but it was good enough. I really picked up. Roman Reigns got the hot tag, and of course, the crowd just booed him out of the building. Everything he did, he was just getting booed out of the building. But the match kicked into overdrive when Braun Strowman got the hot tag, and this is one of the best things currently going in all of WWE. Braun Strowman gets the hot tag. He doesn't go in the ring. He just drops down from the apron. He just starts running around the ring and nailing people forearms like Ray Lewis, like a linebacker, just get down running and finding anybody and running them over, and it is just hilariously great. And the crowd, it never fails. No matter what city or wherever they go to, the crowd pops for this guy. He is the future. He should be the now. But sticking to this, it picked up really well. Braun got the hot tag, but Kevin Owens hit a nice super kick, got Braun down into the corner. Looked like Kevin Owens was about to mount some offense, but Braun Strowman caught him with the power slam for the 3 count. The crowd was obviously conflicted as Kevin Owens was taking the 3 count, but they were still cheers for Braun as he picked up the win for Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. So moving on, Baron Corbin. Move on to Baron Corbin. And before I move on, I'd like to say one more thing on Bobby Lashley here. Bobby Lashley, it's a shame because there really seems to be no plan for Bobby Lashley. Now, there are a lot of people saying that, okay, Bobby Lashley is a waste, and it's not Bobby Lashley's fault. Look, Bobby Lashley was the walking Armageddon in TNA, and it was a fantastic gimmick. They let him talk on the mic. He talked about destroying people, and he did just that. He went out and he destroyed people. WWE has given him no gimmick or anything whatsoever They have him go out in these random matches. There's no plan. They don't let him talk on the mic. So, of course, after all of that, he looks like cardboard cutout wrestler A, because they're not doing anything with him or letting him have any type of time on the mic. And I mean, he has this, I do not like his theme music, by the way. So that's another strike going against him. So of course, it's going to look like Bobby Lashley isn't doing anything so far. But until they give him a mic and until they give him purpose, he'll always look this way. So what I need from WWE is to give this guy something, give him a plan. Let's see something out of Bobby Lashley. If not, just let the guy go and let him go back to TNA if you're not going to use him right. So moving on, as I was saying, we're going to move on to Baron Corbin here. Baron Corbin was down to ringside and he was cutting this promo and it had no heat whatsoever. The Kennedy crowd was not responding. You could hear one or two people talking to Baron Corbin that was at the ringside, and they weren't saying much of anything. But as Baron Corbin got into the ring, his opponent came down. It was No Way Jose, and we got into a match which really didn't go far at all. This match led to Titus O'Neil coming down to ringside. So Titus O'Neil is coming down to ringside, and I'm like, okay, what are they gonna do? How are we gonna maintain this Titus momentum? So Titus comes down, he gets on the apron, and he falls off the apron. Quotations in falls off the apron. So this is how they plan on keeping Titus's momentum, to which he completely lost it and he will lose it going forward. They're gonna have him fall down every week and try to turn that into a gimmick. Like, jeez, man, they just can't let something funny be funny and then move on from it. Like, you can just create a Titus World Slide t-shirt. That would have been great. And then have them come out. If anybody's going to get the win over Baron Corbin, just have them come out and get the win over Baron Corbin. And that's that. But it is what it is. At the very least, at least No Way Jose got him a dub. So I'm happy there. No Way Jose got the win. Baron Corbin was distracted. But on the negative side, there goes Baron Corbin's momentum as well. So this was an interesting match, to say the least. An interesting result, to say the least, shall I say. So moving on, we have Mickie James versus Natalya. Ronda Rousey was at ringside. I do appreciate that Ronda Rousey, like, she's living up to it. She's here every week. So we had the match. Not a whole lot going on here. I did like that Mickie James went back after the knee. They went back to that. They had the angle going and they went back to it. They sold it. And Natalya was favoring the leg. Although the match went in with Ronda Rousey chasing Alexa Bliss around at ringside. Like, we have a full-on 400-meter dash going around the ringside, and that somehow distracted Mickie James, and somehow Natalya was able to pick up the win with a roll-up. So, I mean, that match is what it is. I'll tell you what about Natalya. I do not like how... Okay, Natalya is a face now, just out of nowhere. Okay, we're supposed to just forget all of the heel things that Natalya has done. To which, by the way, the Canada gave her a great pop too. Canada loves their guys and gals. We're supposed to forget all of the heel things that Natalya did and just say, oh, she's a face now. Ronda Rousey is her buddy now. Like, no, I just don't accept that, but it is what it is. You know, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop with this Natalya Ronda Rousey thing. I mean, everybody's waiting on Natalya to turn on her, and I'm waiting to see Ronda Rousey in the ring in a one-on-one match. Now, I'm glad that they are not rushing it, but her first one-on-one match will be very important. I hope they have her going in the Performance Center and whatnot. They say that she's a workaholic, and I believe it. So we'll see how it all goes. I love her death stare. And there was no smiling tonight, so I like that much as well. So moving on, we had after that match that brought Nia Jax down, and she chased Alexa out of the building. It will be Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss this Sunday at Backlash for the title. Moving on, we had a cell phone promo. I cannot tell you how much I hate those things with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Drew was great, but like they were shooting this thing, like where were they? They were. It's like Drew is shirtless. Dolph doesn't have much of a shirt on. They're in this spot where there's a whole bunch of chairs everywhere, and whose idea was that? Like, Drew was great now, but do away with the cell phone videos, please. Just do away with them. So moving on to the main event of the night, it was Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. To start this match, the crowd was just dead because Raw just went down a cliff and the crowd was just out of it. And it took a while before Balor and Rollins got the crowd to get involved in this one. The match really picked up when Seth dove for a tope, hit it, but was countered with a kick by Finn Balor. So throughout the match, it really picked up when Seth went for the superplex. He hit the superplex, but Finn reversed it into a Falcon Arrow. And like this set off a mad chain of events where we had one of the sickest counters and chain of kicks ever. Seth Rollins hit a knee. That was followed by a Pele by Finn, an enziguri by Seth, and then a clothesline by Finn to Seth Rollins. So this match was just bananas. It would end with Seth Rollins hitting the curb stomp to Finn Balor after he missed it before. Seth Rollins would get the 1, 2, 3. And this match was awesome. It was fantastic. Like, at this point, Balor and Rollins are putting on just main event pay-per-view worthy matches. And I think the only drawback to this is that these matches are going down on Monday Night Raw. And I mean, there's really nowhere else to go with these guys unless we go down the Finn Balor heel route, to which Finn Balor, being a heel, he was doing a lot of heel talking, to which I really like that in this match. Finn Balor's showing a lot of pizzazz and anger, to which I like that. I hope they continue to go down that road because something needs to be done with Finn Balor. He's going around doing nothing but smiling. If they go with this heel route, then hey, I'm all for it. Go with it. So that would close the match. Finn was frustrated, but that would be the ending to Monday Night Raw. Not a whole lot with this Monday Night Raw. I just really started to slowly go down a cliff, or really started to go down after Seth Rollins' initial promo in the ring. But it would pick back up with the 2 tag matches. Not a whole lot for me going overall. I didn't really like it until towards the end. So down below, tell me down below, am I being too harsh on Monday Night Raw? What did you think of Monday Night Raw? Tell me what you thought. What was your favorite segment of the night? Let me know, and feel free to check out my channel. So let me know down below, what was your favorite moments of the night?